I'm Harley Neville. Welcome along to the Guy and
And
Harley
I'm Guy
podcast.
Pigton, and who was that? Sounded like an angry Santa Claus.
It was that was Angry Santa Claus from his new album. I hate kids. That was King 810 with their show, with their song
Right.
Hellhounds. Which is their new one that just came out. So quite enjoy a bit of King 810. I do.
What's King 810? What's 810 all about?
I believe the 810 is in reference to the area code. They're from not Detroit.
Okay.
They're from Murder
Right.
Town, also known as Flint, Michigan. Murder Town. They're from Flint, Michigan, and I believe the 810 is something to do with the area code. So they're the king of that area code, and it was like one of the poorest cities in America with the highest gun violence, which is why it was called Murder Town. And he's from there. He's a thug from the streets there who does this metal. It's metal, but it's done kind of like poetry a little bit and heavily influenced by like gangster, kind of like culture and hip hop and that type of thing.
Okay. Well, thank you for the update.
Yeah. Well, you asked, mate. You asked. We got nothing else to talk about here. We got a full fucking hour to fill here. So we'll spend the first 20 minutes on King 810. Then we'll talk about COVID.
Yeah, but aren't people, when they see that, gonna go, he's King 810? Is that?
Well, I call it King 810. I've never heard. I don't know if anybody.
It's this whole. It's this whole Blink 182, Blink 182 situation all over again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, how's the apocalypse on your end of town?
Let's settle in here. Like, what day is it today? It's day 8 of lock-in.
Day 7.
I think it's day. Pretty sure.
We went in lockdown at 11:59 p.m. on Wednesday night. Wednesday night a week ago. So at 11:59 p.m. last night. So we are in the 7th day. Unless, you could say it was Wednesday, but it wasn't. It was 11:59 p.m. It was Thursday morning.
Technically, it's day
8. With 1 minute. It's day 7 in 1 minute.
So yeah, we're on day 8 of lockdown. We've hunkered down now. If you're watching on the live stream,
you are going to come.
You will
your
see
pants.
the beautiful visage of myself streaming in high definition. I have this great aura and glow about me. Like I just look magical. I look like a movie star. And then we look over to your side and you just look like fucking hot garbage. You just look like absolute piece of shit. And it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing.
Well,
because that's the thing. And that's the thing. That's the only thing that's changed. I've just shaved. Everything else exactly the same. Same setups and everything, but I've just had a shave, and this is what I look like.
Just shaving. That's what did it.
No, I've managed to update and upgrade my camera situation. Thanks to some YouTube videos and some trawling of information, and I also one of the biggest things about the biggest problems is you go, cool, I'm gonna be a live stream expert. I'm going to create a live stream show and it's going to go everywhere and I'm going to do everything and I just need to buy the gear to do it. And then you go, oh, fuck, I can't buy anything. I can't buy any of these things that I would want to for this purpose. I literally can't fucking buy shit because everything is quarantined, everything is cancelled. And also there's okay, I just order it overseas. Unfortunately, every arsehole and his dog has had this idea. So they've all been...
Well, I couldn't get any RAM for my computer.
I mean, but everyone's like, I'm going to become a YouTube sensation. I'm going to be streaming all the time now. So I better get an expensive webcam or an expensive this or expensive interface or expensive mixer because that's what you do. And it's like, none of them will do it. None of them will actually bother. And if they do, it will suck. But now everyone's a YouTube star, Quarantine.
Well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. This is a rat race, and we've got a little head start, but only if we strike right now, because there is a tsunami of shit content coming our way, and there's going to be all these people popping up and rising up through this crisis. They're going to be all popping up, and we've got this little advantage on them at the moment because we've got all these subscribers and we're kind of half set up. But we got to go because it's a life or death situation here, because we are likely to be out of work. I don't know about you, but for me, potentially for quite a long time. And I might really legitimately need to really monetize this online stuff properly in order to survive. And I feel like now is the time that we should be charging full steam ahead at that, which is great because that's exactly what we're doing with your new setup looking fucking amazing. I'm going to work on mine. I'm going to work on my setup as well. Going to work on that too. Mine has taken a big step up recently, and my camera is a better quality than the old one. It would be nice to get a mic that wasn't disguising my face from the live streamers so much, but oh well. So yes, anyway, we're getting there is the point, and we're learning quite a lot about live streaming and so on, because one of the other things that I'm doing at the moment is I'm working for Show Me Shorts, the film festival, which I don't usually say their name, but I will this time because I'm promoting a specific event, which is this coming Tuesday, the 7th. We've got a screening of Iranian female cinema, so short films made by Iranian female filmmakers. And so I'm screening these. I'm the event manager for them, so I'm sort of in charge of the event, and I'll be putting them on the internet, and it'll be an event that people have paid tickets for, and they go and they can watch the films. And you guys can do that too if you go to showmeshorts.co.nz, and you can get yourself a ticket and you can watch this event. And part of what I've got to do is I've got to introduce it. So I've been setting up my studio, getting my ring light out, dusting off the old Canon X7.
So you're going to still
G7X.
So you're going to still live introduce that?
No, so yes, sort of. So the very first one is just going to be me doing a pre-recorded vlog type intro where I just introduce everything, and then I tack that onto the front of this series of short films, the supercut of short films that I've put together. So I'll just tack my intro onto the beginning and maybe a little outro on the end, and then I'll send out the link and people just watch the whole thing basically. But it's not live. But the next time I'm getting it all set up, and I've been working on this quite a bit lately. The idea is to be able to do it live, actual live. So we go, hey guys, so you know how at 7 p.m. on Tuesday we do the short film night? Well, we're still doing it, and it's live. And then it cuts to, basically I'll be using a broadcasting program, not OBS, one that's better than OBS, called Livestream, and it's owned by Vimeo, I'm pretty sure. And so I'll be using that, and basically I can do my intro live and then mix to the videos and play the rest of the films, play the supercut type thing, but do it actually live, and then it also records it, and then we can post it later as well for anybody that missed it.
So what's the benefit to doing it that way?
Well, I just feel like it actually turns it into more of an event that people would be willing to pay for. So you're not saying like, hey guys, here's pay us $10 and we'll give you a link to some short films. That's cool, but what's cooler is, hey guys, pay us $10 and come to this live internet show. You got nowhere else to be. We're in lockdown. Like, come along. This is a live show with a live intro from we're really here.
From an established
and we're going to watch them
comedian
together.
And poet.
Well, yeah, that's write something good. And so I'm here.
We live stream for this shit.
Well, we paid for this. But yeah, so basically that's the only benefit really, is just that it makes it a live show that I think people are more likely to come along and watch, which is what I actually want to do with you and some of our other productions now, because I know that the listeners are salivating at this concept that you and I do an intro to No Caller ID, which is ready to rock, and then we play No Caller ID live on the live stream, and then we do a Q&A afterwards. Same with Emmy the Vegan. Same with I Survived a Zombie Holocaust. We could do all of these things, maybe not Emmy the Vegan yet, but Emmy the Vegan later. And I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, we could do one where we do an intro, play I Survived a Zombie Holocaust, and then do a Q&A afterwards. Or if we really wanted to, we could do a live director's commentary. So basically we play the film down and talk over it.
There's quite a bit of interesting mileage in that In fact, speaking of I Survived for Zombie Holocaust, I happened to go for a walk today, and I was with my lovely girlfriend, and I took her past the area where we shot some pickups, where essentially we had a bunch of about, I don't know, 10 or 15 zombies being attacked by real zombies. And the problem is, in the film, we had shot this scene, but it was never clear who were the real and fake zombies. Like, the joke of the film was actually a nightmare in shooting it, because you couldn't show them, like, hey, well, which one, who's biting who? Is that a real zombie or a fake zombie? So we had to go and shoot a whole bunch of sort of gory inserts of these zombies, these real zombies,
paid for with our own dollar.
On our own dime. And so where are we going to film this? So we kind of filmed it up in this park, kind of near to where we were, in some bushes, basically. And they called the police on us because they thought someone was being accosted in the bushes because of all the screaming.
Yeah, from all the screaming, So that's kind of what happens when you don't talk to the council before you shoot something.
On the bright side,
maybe,
the police showed up. They're like, what's going on here? And I said, oh, sorry, sir, we're just shooting a movie. And they go, oh, well, carry on then.
They didn't mind at all.
So I could just go straight back to accosting the people in the bushes. With exactly. So there is a lesson there for anyone who's a flat. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. But yeah, so I was reminded of that. So I'm sure there's lots of interesting tidbits we could share about the zombie film. I mean, we should probably mention. Should we mention that?
I don't know. You haven't told me what we
the
should
zombie
mention
film
yet.
is. We were hoping to get the rights to the zombie film back this year.
Right.
And sadly,
Well, yeah.
Yep.
Well, perhaps you should explain to them why we would even want the rights back, and what does that even mean?
Well, essentially, when you have a product or a film, you sell the rights. You sell the rights to someone, or you give the rights to a sales agent who then sells the rights to other people. In theory, each time they make a sale, you get some money from this. In reality, if you do a terrible deal, they get all the money and you get absolutely fucking nothing. Sadly, we find ourselves in that scenario. So to get the rights back would mean that we have the opportunity to make money with it, as opposed to everyone else making money with it, except the fucking people who made the fucking film that it took 5 years to do and thousands of their own dollars to create. So that's why we would want to get the rights back. Unfortunately, it's tied up through what can only be described as a ridiculous legal loophole, which means that we currently, essentially, any money that's been made off the film is not ours. And that we gave them that 6 years ago. And through this loophole, they've managed to stretch this out for another 2 years, or so it looks like at the moment. And and
we've already spent a bunch of money on a lawyer, which shouldn't really.
We paid
get
a
us
lawyer
anywhere.
to tell us that he couldn't. Yeah,
What we already knew.
We were like, so what we need is for you to clarify whether or not we can get the film back now instead of in 2 years. And he goes, "Thanks, guys. I can't tell you that." But that's cost you $600.
But here's the bill. Here's the bill. Yeah, well, we need to get an LA-based entertainment lawyer to talk to this LA-based company. I think you're LA-based.
I think that the film commission just needs to flex on them. That's all I think that's necessary. I think it's a matter of... Because also, the other thing is that everything's all very cordial and very professional and blah, blah, blah. But no one has just turned around and said, hey, I know you're fucking us. Stop fucking us.
Yeah.
Like, can you please stop fucking us? Like, just, can you ease off the fucking right now? You've fucked us for 6 years. Can you maybe just bring back the fucking just a little bit? So just please, for the love of God. Like, but everyone is just like acting like, oh no, it's cool. Everything's cool. We're all cool. Like, and it's like, I don't want to act like that anymore. Fucking fired up.
Well,
I'm
please
fired up.
continue
I
to
don't want to
act like that. Please continue to act like that.
I want to
please.
tell him to stop fucking us. It's basically.
There's quite a bit of exciting stuff happening on the live streams.
Live streams are going off.
Jason Combs,
Yep.
P. Diddy Combs, long time Sexy
Yep.
160 listener. He was wondering if Guy has a fire and a bearskin rug in the background, and then Dublin, which is funny, and it does kind of look like it. And then Dublin Streets replied, who I suspect must be Ian, dear friend,
our favorite flatmate of all time.
But the weird thing is, he did a bunch of comments and then deleted them all, and that's rare because he doesn't seem like the type
Ian,
to
how
delete a
can
comment.
we? Well, did you read them?
But he said, well, I read a couple, and he said, does Guy have a fire and a bearskin rug in the background? And Ian replied, he has a bear on his shoulder and a rug in his pants.
Not wrong. So what you can see in the background is a candle, a flicker. That's what's going on there. No bearskin rug.
And then we also had another listener topic. This one's from Monica Ladybug, listening on Twitch. And she says, I'm going to art school for filming. Any ideas or tips? Now, that's a little bit broad in the sense that it's quite like which area, which specific, kind of what are you trying to get into type thing. But hello, I'm going to an art school for filming. Any ideas or tips? I can't even tell if they're asking if they recommendations of an art school or ideas and tips for a filmmaking career. Probably the latter. So I'll tell you what, Monica, we'll let that one fester unless Guy's got something to say, and then if we've got any tips for you.
Well, I do have one tip right off the bat.
Let them flow out.
Don't make a terrible deal with your sales agent. Whatever you do, make sure you hold on to the rights of your films, and make sure that you're not sort of screwing yourself in the long term.
Sounds obvious. It does sound obvious, but you've got to remember that it's all wrapped up in all types of legal speak and crazy promises.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, also, as artists, and I do think this is a very important point. As artists, we don't want to fuck around with the business side of things. We want to be artists. We want to create. We want to tell stories. And then someone goes, cool, well, how about these terms? You go, yeah. Does that mean you'll get my film out to the world? Then great. Sounds great. Whatever you want, mate. And then what you realize as you get older and wiser is that you have to have a business brain, apply it to your art at some point, because otherwise you will just keep getting screwed. And also that's the thing, is that's what people do, is people take advantage of the ideas that creatives aren't necessarily business people, and also that creatives are following a dream. So if they sell to you the dream of, hey, you'll make this much money with us, or hey, we'll screen this in all these different markets, and we believe that it could be our next big hit. Of course you want to believe all that because you're a dreamer. So they're playing in a predatory fashion. They're playing on your sort of on your hopes and dreams, and exploiting your sort of your hopes, your best case hopes for the future sort of thing, because they're saying exactly what you want to hear, and that's how it all goes wrong. So
those motherfuckers.
Oh, those people.
Nothing. Yeah. I'm just backing you, homie. I'm just backing you.
So, like, that would be one of my advice. But look, where do we start? Probably with not giving up, right? In terms of advice, like, that's advice for further down the road when you're selling your art. But when you're creating it to begin with, it's just to not give up. Keep improving, and my favorite one, which was the hardest for me to take on board, and some might say I never have, is don't be afraid of constructive criticism. Do not.
I hate constructive criticism.
Yeah, and look, and that's another thing. All artists hate. Like, you've made this beautiful thing, and then someone goes, yeah, you could really fix this, and this. You don't want to fucking hear that. You just made this perfect thing that you sweated, that you labored over for hundreds of hours, for days, and then someone comes and goes, that looks a bit crooked. That the thing you've like that drawing, this nose is a bit.
Yes, well, thank you very much. Do you have any idea how long it took to get that? Yes, it's crooked. Do you have any idea how long? It's like it even exists there.
And also,
it's like it's in
the
shot.
first thing that you want to say is, yeah, I meant it to be that way. You fuck. I fucking did that on purpose, which is not the correct, because if you didn't do it on purpose, just go, okay, I'm going to take that on board. Taking on that criticism is, especially when you get to the end of the project, like a big project, like, for example, Older has taken 7 years or something like that. And then someone comes in with the advice, and you're like, I don't want to hear your fucking advice. It's taken us 7 years. What do you want us to do now? Take another 7 and fucking fix that? No, it's fucking done.
Yeah.
Just lay off.
Yeah.
But yes. So, what's the comments coming through? I can't see them. They're too small on my screen.
Well, so the Godzilla NZ says the bird in the background looks thrilled by all this. He is, of course, referring to your lovely girlfriend. Who's famous on Twitch now. And
it's weird
YouTube.
because in my frame, she's barely visible, just like in my life.
Yeah.
Barely visible in the background. So I didn't realize that anyone could see. She's giving me the fingers, so I'm sure everyone can see that, but I can't really.
Yeah. Yeah, well, she's there. And Sly Will, shout out Sly Will, he's in the house, and shout out to US. Shout out to you still wear tidy whities as well, whoever you are. Thanks for tuning in. So,
yeah.
Well, we'd love some reflections from the listeners in terms of, this show's been going for 5 years now, right? And I like to think that maybe we have grown over that time and that the show has evolved. And yet when I look for evidence of this, I can't really see any. I feel like if you go back and listen to the earlier shows, are we really that different? I don't know. And so I was kind of just, keeping in mind that we are, our egos are both incredibly sensitive to criticism. We would really like some feedback on what works and what doesn't.
What year did we start the podcast?
Well, I know that it was 5 years was the anniversary, like a few months ago.
We started approximately 2015 then. Sometime in 2015
Yeah, and of course before that there was the very famous Guy and Harley Ponsonby radio show for a year or so.
The benefit of that is we could break things up with music.
Yeah, the issue with this one is it's just a couple of dickheads talking shit. It's a show about nothing. It's like Seinfeld. There's no structure, no form, no discipline. We don't release it consistently. We don't have a website where people can download our content and merch and all that type of thing. So what we need is a third party. That's what we need. Now, I did actually ask somebody who I had hoped would be our technical producer for the show. Now, what we'd get this person to do is we'd get them to download the OBS, which is the broadcasting software, and we would give them our login, and they would log in to our YouTube and Twitch, and they would broadcast the show from OBS, and they would do the cutting, and they would do all of the technical stuff. And when we talked about our new posters, which we're putting together for Older, we could then cut to those posters right now, and he would cut to them. You see, this third person. So I asked, and he politely declined.
Well, do you really need a third person when the second person is currently on lockdown and unemployed? That's my question.
Yeah. Oh, that's not me, mate. That's not me. No, because the issue is we need a person who's working right now to cut things on air and do the technical producing side of things, which means that we could cut to things and like on Joe Rogan, right? They're talking about something, a meme on the internet, and that meme gets cut up on air. That's done by Joe Rogan's technical producer. So there'd be a person there who would provide all the details with all the content to beforehand. But then if we happen to go off off on a tangent and ended up talking about the half hairy meme, or he'd go and find that and put it up on air. See what I'm saying? Turn this into a real broadcast.
Well, so I guess we should really talk about. We're on day 7 or 8 of lockdown.
Yeah.
How's lockdown been treating you?
Well, truthfully, overall, I'm really happy with all of this. I've lost a lot of money on the stock market, and I've never been happier in my life. It's weird. It's weird, but like, there's so many good things. I mentioned there's the entire population of grubby humans being forcibly taught to wash their hands and so on. This is all very important. The environment is rebounding as we speak. Like, we haven't actually reduced our carbon output. We've reduced our carbon output, but we haven't taken any away. As in, we've reduced the we're still releasing carbon. We've just reduced how fast we're releasing carbon. So it's a very minor victory if you think about it. But nevertheless, I'm happy about it. I'm happy about that. I go for a walk. What do I see? I see families walking together with their kids, kicking the ball around, spending time, riding push bikes. There's no traffic. People are riding past on e-bikes, right? It's fucking awesome. Everything about this is great. And then we're all being forced to kind of learn to work from home. I've learned heaps in this last week because I've had to, because I'm trying to learn about all this streaming and stuff, right? So I've learned all sorts of bits and pieces. There's really a lot of very positive things about this. And then in terms of like I said, right, in terms of my day-to-day life, this seriously, I joke, we all make jokes, we make jokes. This hasn't really affected my life. It hasn't really affected my day-to-day life. The only difference is I'm not going away somewhere to go to work, right? Obviously, I'm going to notice that, and that's going to get harder to do over time. It's going to get more and more boring, perhaps. But overall, I just fill my time the way I've always filled my time, pretty much. And then the other bad thing, right, is that it used to be that I was too busy all the time. And so if it came to like dating, for example, I couldn't go on dates because I had no time. I'd be like, oh, well, I'm working and then I'm doing this thing and I got that shit due and whatever, right? Now I've got heaps more time and I would love to go on a date, but I literally can't. And the thing that I normally feel bad about in my day-to-day existence is one of the things I feel bad about is that I don't socialize enough, and I feel like I don't go out and hang out with my friends and go to their place for dinner. I don't have anybody that I go and do that stuff with, or to. And they don't. Sometimes I do get invited. Sometimes, so I'm not blaming my friends or anything like that. I live quite an antisocial life as it is. And
you're a loser. We get it.
Basically. Yeah, you're a fucking loser.
You're pathetic.
It's
all right. Okay.
Way of saying you're a pathetic fucking loser, right? So I'm this lonely fucking pathetic loser, and normally what I feel bad about is not making the effort to go and spend time with people. And now I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I've fucking got heaps of time. Oh, I can go fix that problem. I can go spend some time with people. Oh,
can't do it.
Of course I can't spend any fucking time with anybody. Can't spend time with anybody, and I live virtually alone. I've got a flatmate. Shout out to my flatmate Dan, who is an occasional 6160 listener, but he listens to every episode through the wall. And so I live with him, but we're two bachelors. We've got our separate lives going on. We're sort of we don't hang out a huge amount or anything like that. So yeah, basically it's pretty close to a full isolation that I'm suffering through at the moment. And the saddest thing about it is it's not that different to my normal life.
Well, how's the exercise situation been going for you?
Well, today I went for I try to go for like a good walk, like a good hour to 2 hours of roaming the streets every day and just observing and seeing what it's like. It's pretty surreal out there, guys. It's pretty fucking crazy out there, particularly at the beginning. There's a few more people around.
Oh, I hate it.
Well,
the people being around?
Well, hang on,
Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it is much worse now. but it still exists. There's still definitely pretty quiet. It's still really nice. But the first few days of this were so beautiful. You'd go out and it was just you're walking down the street in a suburban area where you'd normally hear cars zooming by, and you'd hear the highway in the distance and planes going overhead and all of that shit. But all I heard was birds chirping and fucking crickets, cricketing, whatever, hitting sixes, whatever they do. Those, I don't know. Anyway, I could hear all of that shit, and then there was nothing. Like, I'd walk around these places that are normally, quite packed, and there's just been nobody around. And that's why I enjoy going for my walks for an hour and a half. And so, and then what I do is I get to the park or wherever I'm going, and I do my 12 push-ups, my 3 sets of 12 push-ups, and keep wandering. And
well, I don't want to brag,
really.
mate. Don't want to brag,
stretching.
But I just clocked 100 today.
100 kilometers.
No, 100
walking.
push-ups, mate. So try and catch up, son.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is, it's not that I couldn't, it's that I don't feel like it.
Yeah, well, look, I could have done. I could have done 500, but I didn't really feel like it, so I just did 100. Just one of those things, day to day. But look, for me, the lockdown, like, what has annoyed me most about lockdown? The lockdown of my consumerism, right? The lockdown of me just being able to order shit off the internet. I live for ordering shit off the internet. I live for trade me deals. I live for the bargains. And suddenly you're going to take all those away from me. You're going to take and the waiting for things. I don't want to wait for things. I don't want to wait a month for something. Who wants to wait? No one can wait. No. So for me, that has been a struggle. But the real struggle has just been like, I like to go and to the gym. I like to do weights. That's how I like to get my exercise. I don't like going for walks. I don't like going for runs. I don't like doing push-ups. I don't like any of that shit. I like to fucking sling some fucking metal around, pump some iron.
Yeah. These are workout tips from Alex Savage, motherfuckers, and you better tune in and listen up.
Yeah, so
this is how we did it.
This is how I got to where I am. So like it's just like just going out. It's just, and also now you go out and there's fucking freaks roaming the streets. Like a little kid zipped by me, literally like 1 centimeter away from me. And the stupid mother goes, "Oh, don't get so close to people, Richard," or something like that. And I was like, you know what would stop him from getting too close? If I fucking uppercutted him off his scooter as he invaded my isolation bubble as a lesson. He fully pierced it. And I should have pierced him for it. Yeah. I mean, that sounds a little bit wrong, but
it probably went a little, I
should have pierced him with my fist. That still sounds a little bit wrong. Well, you get what I should have punched him. Is what I'm saying. I should have punched that stupid little kid.
Yeah.
But just the bravado of I'm a little kid. I do what I fucking want. You're in my way. Fuck off. Respect the bubble, brother.
Yeah.
Respect the bubble.
Well, here's why people will be wondering out there. People will be saying, "Hey, man, what's up with this shit? We're on fucking lockdown." And suddenly, there used to be no people out. You'd peep your head out the window and you'd see that there's no people out. And now, well, it's getting busier and busier. Why? Here's why I think. I don't think that it's because New Zealanders are being too slack overall. I think that most Kiwis are paying attention to the lockdown and they're taking it seriously. And I reckon the difference is just that now the roads are busier because that initial kind of frightened huddle in your home with all your toilet paper time, that was it's past now. And so they're starting to come out and they're going to go, okay, cool. Well, I've run out of groceries for the week. I need to go to do that. Oh, apparently everyone's going for walks and that's fine. So let's go for a walk, all that type of stuff. So they'll be getting out more and more. But it was really nice. Those first few days, fucking amazing. It'd be like, post-apocalyptic Auckland would actually be quite a beautiful place if this is what it's going to be like.
Well, I went for a walk today and I shit you not, on this walk, there was more people than there ever has been when there was no lockdown, and exactly. I was taking the dogs for a walk.
Because everyone's got to
Yeah.
go for a walk. Everyone's got to go for a walk. So where are they going to go? To the nearest park.
Yeah.
That's what I've been doing. I've just been alternating between parks near
So,
my house.
yeah.
And the thing is, I feel like a fucking weird pervert because I'm just walking around in these suburban areas looking for parks and then creeping in there. Of course, all the fucking public toilets are closed. So if you need a piss, you got to creep into the bush, take your penis out. Next thing you know, you're at the park, you've got your penis out, you're in the bushes, and one of these hundreds of people
They just walk right
you.
past. Whereas before, you could just do
So-
that in peace.
Anyway, I can't go for many walks anymore.
It is interesting though, because
got a
in the
rep.
more successful countries, you couldn't go for walks. I don't believe there was
Right.
any going for walks in China.
No, but you're right. But here's the thing. I think that it's good that we're allowed to go for walks, and I don't think it's going to increase transmission as long as people are being sensible. And so far as I've seen, people are being sensible, And so, for example, I went for a walk.
Apart from
today.
that little shit on the
What did I do?
scooter.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess there are some people that are serial bubble piercers. But yeah, so I mean, like for example, I went for a walk today. I didn't touch anything. I just went for a walk. I just walked to this park, which is reasonably far away. Walked all the way there. When I got there, there was a grassy area which I did a few push-ups on. Now that is me touching something, but the chances of somebody having just touched it immediately prior to me are pretty slim, and the chances of that person having COVID-19 are even slimmer. So I did some push-ups on the grass at a field. I think it's probably okay. That would be the highest risk of transmission on my outing, and then I picked up my backpack and walked home basically, and that was it. Didn't touch a fucking thing. So
Why did you have
I
a
reckon that people can
backpack?
sensibly do that because it's got my water bottle in it, it's got my water bottle, my selfie stick, my cell phone, because I don't want to have my cell phone bouncing around in my pocket while I'm
A brisk walk.
gallivanting around.
Wait, after you've
Yeah, the
walked
brisk
a
walk.
brisk walk. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got my money and I've got my keys. What do you put all that shit in your fucking pockets? You remember, like I think of myself as living alone, and so I could go out without my key. I absolutely could. But what I tend to do is I leave the house and I lock the front door. I'm from the fucking hood, man. We don't leave the house without locking the door. So I leave the house, I lock the door. I've got to have my key somewhere. It ain't going to be in the pocket, so it's got to be in the bag. Also, what if I choose to buy some? Oh, that's the other thing too. I had to buy some. Oh, that was my transmission. My big risk of transmission. I stopped by the local dairy on the way back. One in, one out, and I one in, and I got a loaf of bread on the way back.
Oh, those dairies will
a $6.30 loaf of
price
bread.
gouging.
I would have shit my pants if I'd fucking realized, but I was too busy thinking about not pressing the buttons.
Yeah, well, look, it's funny. If you're gonna get COVID from anywhere, it's gonna be a dairy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm avoiding all of it, man. I'm living off soup. I'm living off like soup, bread, and I'm like I've got microwave meals, and basically just it's all reasonably healthy. It's all pretty cheap. It's all super easy, and I'm just rationing my money because I got paid from the New Zealand wage subsidy scheme that Labour put in, and thank God I did, because I was like, fuck, well, I've got like, basically, I'd just come back from Dunedin, I went on that adventure to Dunedin to try and like look at trying to buy a house, and then I'd come back, and my finances had in no way recovered from that, and so, and then all this happened, right? So I was like, well, what the fuck am I going to do now? And then I applied for the wage subsidy, and got it, and now I'm kind of like pretty okay, really, for the next little while. And I can kind of obviously I've still got a big concern, which is that when this lockdown comes up, I'm as a freelancer in film and TV, it might be literally months or years until my industry recovers. But yeah, so basically I'm just sitting and waiting now.
We got a message from Ian, beloved Ian, our old flatmate, and he messaged the Peroni. I'm drinking a Peroni beer. And far, there's been apparently 110,000 cases of COVID in Italy and 13,000 deaths. And I believe he's suggesting that they might not be making Peroni anymore.
No, I think the reason why Ian deleted all his comments
because he's drunk.
because he's had a
Yeah.
few drinks and he didn't want any visual representation left for the public to see of his drunken shenanigans. But that's all right. He's privately messaging us on a different
Which we will
system.
make public.
That's fine. He can still be a part, and then we'll just narc on him there, so it's fine. Yeah, so shout out to all our listeners on the live stream, by the way. We're fucking popping off at the moment. I wonder if Nick Zalati is still tuning in. Now, he might be, he's a long-term Sexy 160 listener. I think he is still listening, so shout out to Nick Zalati. He could, on the other hand, be completely over our inane, repetitive, idiotic shit by now. I'm not sure, but he was the guy that we shaped him and his brother, we shaped their lives by them discovering our web series The Project on Zone, which was available on some sort on Freeview internet or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was, but they basically in their youth they got shaped by it, and now here he is all these years later still listening to the Guy and Harley podcast. Okay, he's Godzilla NZ. Shout out to Godzilla NZ on Twitch.
Yeah, so obviously, speaking of our film projects, we've been working on what I call Operation Older, right?
Right, which is where we age a decade.
Which is where we take 7 years to make a film called Older. It's called Operation Older.
Yeah.
But you had Operation Flying Sparrow. That was when your girlfriend was coming back to New Zealand for like a week or something.
She was passing through Auckland for a few days on her way to go and start a new life in Queenstown.
And you were going to intercept her at the airport. You were going to
it was an interception operation.
You're going to romance her, and she was going to realize that she'd made a horrible error in judgment, horrible mistake,
and she was going to come back to me.
And where are we at with that operation?
Operation Flying Sparrow. Well, she's the mother of another man's baby, and she lives on the other side of the world.
So that operation, not so successful.
Well, I mean, look, where are you going with this, man? We've established this already.
So then we had Operation Get Laid in LA, which was nothing to do with you getting laid in LA, but absolutely nothing to do with sex. It was you going over to LA to help sell Older and go to the American film market there. And the operation had absolutely nothing to do with you getting laid in LA.
It didn't, and it was a resounding
absolute
success.
Total success, because you did not get laid in LA because it was just a code. And you didn't get laid in LA because if you had, then it would be confusing. But thankfully, you kept those lines separate and made sure
I'm a professional, and I made a professional decision
to not get laid in LA.
There's going to be. I said there's going to be a lot of beautiful Los Angeles-based women that are going to want to sleep with me, and because I'm a producer, I'm a big shot producer, and it's not appropriate though for me to be doing that type of thing. It's unprofessional, and so I made the very professional decision to not have sex with anybody while I was in LA for Operation Get Laid in LA.
And so now. We're going for Operation Older, which is basically finish Older while we're in lockdown. While nothing's happening, while the world has ground to a halt, and that includes all the post-production places, yet some still toil ahead on this, on finishing Older. And I'm actually going to message our sales agent and be like, hey, what's going on? Like, in your world, like, in the sense of, like, are films still coming out? Do you still exist? Is, like...
Who said
I will talk to our sales agent. I'm going to message our sales agent and be like, what? Like, are you guys all right over there? Because they're based in LA. LA is in a lockdown as well. Self-imposed by the governor. I'm not sure. But it's not by the president, I can tell you that much. But
no,
because he hasn't done that. and he's been too slow to act on many things, and they have now the highest cases of corona in the world, I believe. They've just beaten everyone else, I think. So first to something. Congratulations,
Good old
America.
They always come first in the end.
And so I did actually see, and I know we love to bash on Trump here. That's one of our favorite topics, actually. But there was an amazing supercut of Trump, like that someone shared on my thing, which was basically Trump talking about the coronavirus from like essentially the beginning of the year till now, you know, and what he was saying. And it's nothing to worry about. It's not here. We don't have anything to worry about. You know, there's very low, you know, it's only 2 people, you know, when there's like 10 people. And then he's like, oh, so only 30 people. It's like 100 people. And he's like, it's very low. There's nothing to worry about. It's not here. We don't have it. Literally right up until like 2 weeks ago, you know, and he's still like, there's still nothing to worry about. Like literally he still says there's nothing to worry about. The world is burning. Oh, it's nothing to worry about. We don't have anything to worry about here in America.
This is fine.
So anyway, there's a great supercut of that. But anyway, so our sales agent is based in LA in lockdown. And I just wonder what the hell their strategy is in terms of like, they've still got films to release. And I'm sure they had many other films to release. Now, they're primarily an online distributor. So does that mean business as usual? And then there is a compelling question, which I've sort of had to try and figure out, or I've started to try and figure out, is how do we get our film and all the deliverables to them in lockdown? Because I can't go to the post office anymore and post things, right? That's not, you can't do that, right? So the only thing, as far as I can see, is getting enough storage to put all the deliverables online and then giving them a sort of a download link. But the problem is it's, you know, it's quite a lot. It's like 150 gigs, which is a lot bigger than your average download. So it all sort of depends where they're at and whether that's something that they can accept on their end. And also,
well, surely they can. Surely they can accept it digitally. They've got a business model which is now virtually all got to be online because of all this. So
well, presumably
they have a way to accept the deliverables, you know, in full quality via the internet, you know, or to a quality they're
But
they're
it also
happy with.
poses the other question, like, okay, so if we do that, are they going to be like, yeah, so what we're doing is we're fast-tracking all our films because there's way more viewers on Amazon Prime, and so congratulations, your film's coming out in 2 weeks. Or are they like, actually, we're waiting for everything to blow over? Or are they like, actually, we're bankrupt? There is no business model because our business is closed now, which is also entirely possible. In which case, we need to find a new sales agent.
Well,
I should probably send that email.
Well, you might as well send it and touch base with them, touch tips with them, and just see what they're up to.
Operation Older.
Makes
so
sense.
We'll keep you guys updated.
Operation Older.
Updated.
Okay, sounds good. We've got a few more, bit more stuff going on the YouTube chat box as well here. Now, Jason P. Diddy Combs, long-term listener, he's wondering if I have a gamer chair. I do have a gamer chair, yes. I bought this as a birthday present for myself because I wanted to, I was like, well, look, I'm going to spend the rest of my life sitting in this fucking chair in front of this fucking computer. And my last one, I had it for about 6 years, and it lasted me, it was perfectly fine. It was a beautiful black one. I really liked it, and it lasted me 6 years, and I literally found it on the street. I found it on the street in Auckland, and so I took that in one day, and it kept me for 6 years. We saw many a good time, that chair and I. Let me tell you.
Did you? Okay, well, let's clarify that. Did you ever have sex on that chair? Yeah, boy.
I mean, a gentleman doesn't full penetrative sex and tell, but yes,
100%. Someone sat on you while you were sitting on that chair.
Well, I had a long-term girlfriend while I had that chair.
Angie.
So
So you did some interesting things.
Anyway,
you used the chair to full effect.
that was a good chair. It was a good chair. And so anyway, that's gone, and now I've got my computer chair. So thank you for asking, Jason. Anything you ask me comes back to Angie at some point. You asked me about a computer chair. We're talking about Angie now.
Yeah.
And then so we were talking about how lonely I am and how little I'm doing, and Jason said, so Harley is saying that he's an incel, to which Ian, shout out Ian, jumped to my defense and said, nah, dude, he's an excel. As in he excels, fucking good logic. Love it. Dublin on you, mate. Dublin streets. And so anyway, we've got a serious question here. Does New Zealand have any virus hotspots right now? Now, the answer to that is not really, but I believe that Dunedin has one of the highest infection rates now, our home city. I think that's getting up there now.
Well,
I don't know the exact numbers on hand.
They have what's known as 7 clusters. So that's clusters of the virus in certain areas that they've sort of found a place where it started or where they think it started, and it spread outwards to some degree through that. And it is very fortunate because essentially one of them was like a pub. So the pub, everyone went there for St. Patrick's Day and everyone got infected from that point.
Oh, those dumb motherfuckers, because by St. Patrick's Day, everybody knew what was going on. And everyone was like, yeah, social distancing and all that shit. And then you hear these headlines, Dunedin students, partying for St. Patrick's Day. And I was like, those dumb motherfuckers. And a little part of me was like, I hope they get it. But now that they've got it, I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't mean it. I don't actually want them to get it. Not because I care about them as individuals, but because I don't want them to spread it throughout the society.
Well, and there's a high school up here in Auckland, Marist High School, which apparently has like 50 cases now, based around someone having it there and spreading it to a whole bunch of people. And there was a wedding somewhere as well. So there's a few different places like that they call clusters, that they're sort of trying to track all the people that were involved in that area and sort of isolate or track where they've gone and where they may have spread it to.
They're known as, those individuals are known as clusterfucks. I believe.
Dad joke.
The New Zealand government
joke number one, in case you're wondering for the listeners. So yeah, there's a few. I think there's about 750-ish cases as of today, as of what we're talking about right now. So still a lot going on, and it's it's interesting. I think today was the most amount of people. I think it was 80 something that had been confirmed, new people. But the problem is, and we did talk a little bit about this, they've only now started going, okay, we're not just tracking people that have come from overseas. We're just, if you've got symptoms, we'll do the test. Like, that's the idea now.
Yeah.
And it's like, cool, man, but how long has that sort of policy been sort of, the concept that we only test you if you've been linked to someone overseas? How long has that policy kind of thrown you off the trail of an accurate assessment of how many people have it and where it is?
I think one of the main issues that we're neglecting to mention or to consider here, though, is that the policy isn't in place because they're like, it's not too serious. We'll just keep an eye on the people that come from overseas. She'll be right. The issue is that the tests themselves are not ubiquitous yet, and they've got a finite amount, and they can't blow them on every Tom, Dick, or guy that shows up saying, I've got a sniffle.
I've got a wee sniffle. Cough.
I've got to call the helpline. I've got to call the helpline. I've got a cough and a sniffle.
I've got a sore tummy.
And so
tummy's upset.
So no, I've got the COVID. So obviously they've got to ration them, and they've got to have some sort of policy in place so that tomorrow we still have some tests. And that's kind of the issue. That's the issue right there, is they've got to decide how to spend those tests.
Resources.
And that was what they decided on. Now, was it the correct decision? I don't know. I don't know the alternatives, really, but I trust my government enough to say that they probably, looked at the evidence they had and made a reasonable decision based upon it.
Yeah, look.
And that's another thing that makes me feel good, by the way. That's the other thing why I'm a bit more positive about this apocalypse than you might expect. And it's because I don't go to sleep at night worrying about what the fucking government's going to do. I'm like, cool, the government's, doing a good job. We've got this under control. Everything's all right. Like, I can't imagine having to go to bed in fucking America at the moment. Just waking up and going, this fucking literal lunatic, this unqualified lunatic has hijacked my country. And now... and he's having a very huge serious effects on, like, my personal life as a result of that man being in power.
And your personal life for the next couple of years.
Exactly, and it's like, man, you have to go to sleep and think about that fucking shit every night. So shout out to our American listeners, and and
no, hang
we're
in
not
there.
bashing you. We're just a little bit up. We're just upset about your government. But do hang in there. And so yeah. That's one thing that helps me sleep at night a little bit about this whole thing, is that at least I believe in my government enough that believe
the
in making
American
the right
response. It is kind of that car crash thing, right? Is like, for us who are not in America, we're watching a car crash from a distance, and you always turn to look, and you're like, "Fuck, wow, that looks really bad." I'm still looking though. I can't look away. I really want to know what's sort of the next step in this madness. But hopefully...
Whoa, what are those dumb motherfuckers
but
doing?
yeah, look, I mean, God, I just wish someone would be like, whose fault is this?
Well, I don't understand how in a powerful modern system, I believe it's a republic. I'm sure it's a republic. I'm going to call it a republic. In a big modern thing like this, how there's not checks and balances in place where they can kind of go, okay, cool, this person who is grossly unqualified to be here and is a danger to all humanity, obviously we can cut him out because we have systems in place to stop this from becoming a dictatorship or becoming from this type of incompetence from occurring.
Yeah,
And,
I mean...
and so they've got literally a reality TV star running the country. They've got a reality TV star.
But that's the thing, is like, if, obviously he's was not impeached, right? Or he was impeached and found unimpeachable. When do you look at who is there to say, Mr. President, you're not fit to run this country at this time? Like, who can say that? Who does that?
That's what I want to know. Like, is there like a vote of no confidence type thing? Like, you can do that, right? You can do a vote of no confidence. But the issue is that the whole system is so corrupt that there's not the people that have the power to vote no confidence can't, because that's what happened with the impeachment, right? The Republicans can somehow like block it and stop it, as far as I understand it. So the whole system, he's got these people backing him, which means that he doesn't have to, he doesn't have to worry about that stuff. He's got the right corrupt friends.
His cabinet can do that, Jason Combs says. Okay. Well, but they won't. Well, that's the problem. No one will do anything. And I guess we just all have to watch as shit goes south. But I just hope, obviously, I hope it doesn't go too far south for anyone.
Well, yeah, the thing is that I feel like maybe the whole planet needs a really revolutionary change, because we're running out of time. Because climate change is real. It's not a made-up thing. It's a real thing. It's got real deadlines. It really exists. And there's still some hope that with the right technology and with the right, social initiatives, that we can kind of rein it in and control it. And this whole COVID thing has proven that. We cut carbon emissions overnight. There's all sorts of crazy things happening. People are working from home. There's all sorts of things that are changing at the moment. So I think we might be experiencing a turning point in history where the old machine seizes up and dies, and the one that's born out of it is much more renewable, much more technologically reliant. It relies on technology, and I don't know, greener and all the rest of it. Overall, kind of positive.
I hope it instigates some changes, and At least, yeah.
The
At the very worst,
it's gonna
Trump does not get back in, right?
That's
No,
the
I mean
worst?
at the very worst, like as
That's
in
the worst. No, man, there's way worse.
okay, let me rephrase that. If it at least means that he doesn't get back in, that's better. That's a very good thing.
Yeah.
Jeremy Howson, long time listener, logging in. Guy looking great. Thank you, Harley. Not so much.
Well, if you could do me a fucking favor, mate. You could make me slightly smaller in the live stream. It's not my fault that you can't figure it out. There's an ECU of me and a lovely ECU of you.
Yeah, Trump cancels the election. That is a concern because I think isn't that what's going on in Russia now potentially? That Putin is using the COVID outbreak to sort of prolong his stay as a glorious leader.
It's a different situation. It's a different situation though because he's going to stay in.
But in saying that over here we have suspended elections, right? So the election has been suspended.
No.
Yeah. Did you not read that?
No.
I think that they said that.
The 2020 election has been suspended. You heard it here first, people, on the Guy and Harley podcast. The New Zealand, the New Zealand election has been postponed. The 2020 election has been postponed. When was it meant to
be? In a couple of months. But that's.
Why didn't my Facebook has not been informing me of anything? This
Facebook
is an indication
up to date.
that my Facebook friends are of a lower caliber.
I mean,
I need friends that are sharing, relevant, pertinent
I only
news
post low caliber jokes on Facebook, so I mean, there's your problem right there. I am part of the problem. I will say that they're talking about the Facebook conspiracy of the idea that somehow they instigated COVID-19 because essentially Facebook was becoming a wasteland. It was uncool. People were sort of logging out, not really being interested, not engaging in the same way, and then because of this, obviously now Facebook's traffic has increased by like 2/3 or something like that, and suddenly we're all using Facebook again. Which look, I don't think that's.
But why would we use Facebook any more than any other website right now?
Well, because this is how we interact and communicate with each other over Facebook. Facebook messages, Facebook chats.
Well, then it can't have been too much of a dead zone, can it? I never thought Facebook was a dead zone. People say that like it's like, oh no, Facebook's on its way out. And it's like, nah, mate, it's here to stay. It's an intrinsic part of our lives now. My history's on.
I know your history, but
the history of
Harley,
my life
I've got news
is on.
for you, mate. We're fucking old and uncool. And if we weren't old,
listen, we're old, but you're uncool.
And if
hip.
you were hip, you'd know that Facebook is so lame, bro.
I'm fucking lit. I'm lit, man. I've got all sorts of followers on Facebook. Now look, these teenagers, they might be into their ticks and their talks, and and all the rest of it. But they'll always come back to Facebook because that's where their family is. That's where their school friends are.
Facebook is a done deal for some people under a certain age.
So why do you think COVID's made Facebook more popular? Why do you think? Are you simply saying it's more popular because everybody's at home now? So no. Use it, or is it actually like riding the wave of like this is the place to be for COVID
no, this
views?
is the place to be to communicate and interact with each other, and it's one of the most easiest ways to do that.
Well, look, if you took it from me, I would be devastated if somebody stole my account or anything like that. I would be devastated. I'd have nothing left. I would just be a short, bald, hairy man in his 30s with nothing. Nobody, no social media.
Well, you really need to think about that and like improve your fucking social media game. Well, your social media game because like that could really happen. I mean, fucking MySpace, mate. Well, never forget. Hashtag never forget MySpace. Well, Bebo, never forget. High five, never forget.
Ian on the live stream says that Facebook's dead. those.
And I
corporate
never see
scum.
him on Facebook anymore, the motherfucker. So that's my point.
Well, no, because obviously he thinks he's dead. Yeah. Yes, but okay,
And he's the coolest guy we know.
He is probably the coolest guy we know. Now, has anybody got anything to say? This is a question from the live stream about. This is from Godzilla NZ, aka Nick Zalati, long-term follower. Thoughts on the anti-5G whack jobs that are blaming COVID on 5G? The only thoughts I have really are just that they're the same people that 6 months ago said the Earth was flat.
Chemtrails.
Or 6 months ago they were worried about chemtrails, or 6 months ago they were worried about vaccines, or 6 months before that they were religious. It's like just whatever. These nut jobs.
Is this the wireless network? Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah. So the new 5G that's going to get put out. This new fast, speedier, more powerful internet. I'm all for it because obviously, like, if this whatever we're on now is pretty fucking amazing. You're streaming this amazing quality camera. It looks awesome.
I look beautiful.
YouTube. It looks fucking cool. It's in sync. You look beautiful. Everything looks great. So imagine 5G. Fucking hell, man. We're gonna be streaming so fast that we'll actually be going back in time.
Well,
it'll be so. That's
I mean, I do think that probably all these wireless waves all over the place there's been no metric to really assess that long term.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair cool.
But
cool.
we get fast internet now, so fuck
same...
all you about cancer in 10 years.
Well, it's also the same with anything.
Yeah.
Long we
Smoking
don't.
used to be good for you, though. I mean, you know. So
exactly. They don't know the difference between correlation and causation. That's the issue with those 5G people. I just made that up myself. The difference. That's the thing about those 5G whack jobs. They don't know the difference between correlation. and causation.
I think I'm going to have to spend a section of this of every episode going forward to mention your comments at the beginning of this. If I can quote you again about COVID-19, tempest in a teapot. You said. Yeah, 10%
a teapot. That is what I said about the media coverage of the virus. That it was a tempest in a teapot.
No, this tempest in a teapot.
And that in terms of the chances of you or me catching it, the chances were exceedingly slim and statistically insignificant. Now, given the 7 billion people on the planet and the 700,000 that have caught the virus, I stand by literally all of that. It's a tempest
in the teapot, though, just to clarify, has left you completely 100% unemployed.
Unemployed.
With no work, for the rest of the year.
COVID has left me with no employment for the rest of the year. Now, no sex, as in it has made me completely celibate. Now, it's not like I was super not celibate before, but now I literally live by myself and not allowed to see anybody else. So I'm completely 100% celibate. I'm completely 100% unemployed.
10% a teapot.
And I'm also the oldest and fattest I've ever been as we go through this. So 10% a teapot.
It'll all blow over very shortly.
No, I never said that.
10% a teapot is to do about nothing.
It's being made to be something bigger than it
is. Oh, brilliant.
No. In reference to the chances of you catching it. In context. You've got to remember the context.
Context is king.
Context is king. Content is key and context is king.
Now, I should just...
I'll tell you what, though. This high five tattoo that I've got on my palm is completely fucking useless now, isn't it? Absolutely useless. It used to save me so much time, and it went from being a hilarious joke to an embarrassing mark of shame.
Your ignorance and what's the word I'm looking for? It's actually not ignorance. It's
ignorance is
your
not right.
total lack No,
Hubris.
your lack of your I guess your lack of empathy for the COVID victims of 2020.
Oh,
Your complete lack of empathy. It's all just a
right.
joke to you. Touch my hand. Yeah, these deaths mean nothing. Give me a high five. So yeah, that's cool. I will say that my lockdown is, you know, I thought it would be, you know, this mad sexual romp, you know, for days on
Yeah.
end. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, my girlfriend is laughing in the background.
Well, we know she's laughing, Nate. We can fucking see her.
So I can't see you guys seeing her. This is weird.
Because you're
I
not
am
looking on the live stream. You're not looking on YouTube.
To me, I think it must be my monitor setting.
No,
Um,
yeah. Well, she's definitely a blur in the background, but in HD, when the quality is high, you are completely crisp, and your lovely girlfriend is in the background right there. What confuses me is why she can hear me if you're wearing headphones.
I think she was just laughing at me saying that I thought that my life was going to be a mad sexual romp.
All right. See, I just assumed she was laughing at me because I'm the funny one. Yeah.
And unfortunately, so far, COVID lockdown 2020, you and I are equal in terms of celibacy during this period of time.
Yeah.
So it hasn't quite worked out like that. Unfortunately, the critical mistake I made was that I introduced her to the world of Fallout. And I sort of, because she'd played the South Park RPG Fractured But Whole, and she'd spent a sort of I guess maybe 15 or 20 hours thrashing that. And she was like, I want a game with a story, and it's like a big RPG, and like, you know, I want to get really involved in it and all that sort of thing with side quests and all that. And I was like, well, and in the back of my head, I was like, is this a mistake? What I'm about to suggest, is this a huge mistake for our relationship? But I couldn't help it. I just went on and I was like, well, you should try Fallout 4 because it's got all of those things, and it's literally hundreds and hundreds of hours. And she's essentially been playing it from dusk till dawn every day.
Well, why is this a problem for you? I mean, that sounds like a good thing.
Well, it's kind of killed my mad sexual romp plans.
Oh, right. Like she can't take a 5-minute break?
A 2-minute break.
You know, I mean, you guys could do it like 2.5 times.
Well, that's what I've suggested, but she's got Fallout on the brain now. All she can think about is looting feral ghouls and taking on super mutants and finding the next bobblehead, Nuka-Cola. So. She's essentially, I've become the architect of my own demise, because this was essentially what happened to me when I was introduced to Fallout 3 on Christmas Day in like 2012 or something like that. Not even, no, it must be 2010, say. And essentially, I opened it up and I was like, oh, hey, this might be the greatest game I've ever played. Oh, hey, this world is like a whole post-apocalyptic world that I can just live in. Oh, hey, it's Christmas Day. Sorry, family. Don't care about you anymore. See you later, girlfriend. And, you know, and now I know what it's like.
On the other end. The receiving end.
And she, obviously, my old girlfriend used to wake up having nightmares, but she could hear that because I was playing it while she'd...
Man, I admire your bravery. How you continually just talk about your old girlfriends in front of your current girlfriend.
I was playing Fallout 3, and she would wake up like with nightmares because she could hear the feral ghouls coming at me as I was shooting them and stuff. And she was like, and I was like, it's all right. I'm just playing Fallout 3 until 4 a.m. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't fret.
Yeah.
I'm just playing Fallout 3.
I remember a similar situation was when we used to live together. And I used to stay out playing XCOM 2, Terror from the Deep in the lounge. and you would have to listen to the soundtrack.
I remember that did that repetitive like one. Why did they have only one fucking track?
Well, it was a long time ago, mate. Technology wasn't the same.
It wasn't
as it
like
is
the
today. You know, when you're playing a PlayStation.
I was gonna say it
1
wasn't like
or
the
whatever
Nintendo
it was.
NES though. It was the PlayStation. They could have fit a few more music tracks on there.
Did we have a PlayStation?
No,
2?
it was a
Did we?
PS1 at that time. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Did we? Okay. Well, there you go. There you go.
Jason, so I've lost my girlfriend to Fallout 4, so I'm hoping that she just manages to complete it before lockdown, so that we may continue with my plans for lockdown. But until then, I will watch from afar and recommend for when she needs to change weapons. Jason asks, what are the Tinder files like right now? Are people looking for quarantine hookups? Well, you would know more about this than me, Harley. All I know is like Fallout 4 and looting. It's very hard to find enough bottle caps to buy the thing that you need to modify your gun with.
Yeah, well, look, I'll tell you, I went on I did get on Bumble briefly today, just for a look. I don't know why. I don't really know why. I don't know what the plan was.
I know what the plan
I mean?
was, but
like,
yeah.
What, to jerk off to pictures of people on Tinder?
Yeah, like Bumble sex.
Right. What do you mean, find some digital sex, where I
some
have,
lewd
chats
escalate.
Yeah, we talk dirty, and I show them my penis.
One thing
and all
leads
that
to
stuff.
another.
Yeah. To be honest, man, can really not really be fucked. I would love to receive some vagina pictures from a lady. That I would fully appreciate that. And all sincerity, if anybody out there would like to send me a vagina picture, you can just go to facebook.com/GuyAndHarley and slide it into our DMs. I would really appreciate that right now in the COVID crisis, you know. But in terms of like actually having to do like the dirty sex back, I'm not very good at it. It's weird, you know, because I do the acting and I
you're
do the
a poet,
presenting, and I feel like I'm a
I'm a
poet. I'm a confident person and all that stuff. But to be really honest, you know, when it comes to sex, and you know, this is a filmmaking podcast
about our lives.
You know, when it comes to the sex and the dirty talk, I really can't think of anything to say. You know, they're like, oh yeah, like, oh, you like that? You like that? And I'm like, well, obviously I fucking like it. Oh, what the fuck? We're not doing it. I'm doing it. I'm literally doing it for fun. Like, obviously I like
everything about this.
Know? And I can't. Yeah, this is good. We're doing everything I like doing. Thank you. Like, enough with the 20 questions. You know what I mean? I don't want to have to think about that shit halfway through, like thinking of something witty or interesting to say. Like, what? Oh, yeah, baby. You touch me right there. I don't know. I'm more of a quiet kind of like, you know, communication's okay, but I'm not like a talk dirty kind of guy. I just I feel like I'm not proud enough of my improv ability, pretty much. You know, it's in real life. I like to only say things that I've thought of beforehand, and it's probably the same with sex. If she told me beforehand, like, "Hey, I'm going to say, do you like that, Daddy?" Then I could
write a few different variations on how you're going to respond to that.
Exactly, a couple of improvs, and I'll use the most appropriate one, obviously, you know. And so yeah. So basically, that's the issue. I'm not too good in real life with the dirty talk, so I'm probably even worse where it's documented. You know, like, and permanent, because that's the thing. If I'm putting it on, or if I'm sending you a dirty message and I'm talking about my big throbbing penis, then obviously that's going to have my name next to it, and it's going to have a sentence from me, and it's just a screen grab away from me being a sifty perv on the internet.
It's true. Well, so what was your
hashtag?
What was your Bumble then? Did you have any likes on Bumble? What was the deal?
Oh, all right. So, okay, cool. We'll finish talking about my masturbating life. All
well,
right,
that's
fine. So I got a lady. So the lady went to. I got on Bumble today, and I swiped a few times to the right. Yeah, I did the helicopter with my penis in a anti-clockwise direction, and I put the phone down below and I did the helicopter, and what that did was that swiped everybody right in a big hurry, and then I eventually matched with a couple of ladies, and one of them messaged me and she said like, hey, your granddad's a wise guy, because I'm back using that granddad line to pick up chicks. You know? Now I'll tell you the line. I'll tell the line to the listeners, so that we're all on the same page. So so I'm picking up chicks on Bumble, right? And so
using your granddad to pick up chicks on Bumble.
I'm using my granddad to pick up chicks on Bumble. You're right. And so it says, this is my Bumble profile. Love's not about sex. It's about experiences shared. So if you love someone and you want them to love you back, be sure to take them on a little adventure every day. And then it's got a love heart, like a face with like love hearts coming off it, like a love emoji, not like a kiss, like a love emoji, like a love heart, happy, content face with love hearts. And then it says, my granddad told me that. He was married for 60 years.
Yeah. I see what you're doing there.
What am I doing?
I see what you're doing, mate. You're going for the I'm a safe guy with the right values who's interested in commitment, long term, and is like wanting like real serious relationships. No time wasters, no game players here, please, because I'm a real genuine dude. And that's I don't fuck around. Me, I'm not your typical fuck boy, okay?
No,
I'm absolutely not a fuck boy. I'm way deeper. I'm on a whole nother level. I'm operating on a whole other level. And if you're interested in relationships and commitment and things that are more than one night stands, then you've found the right dude right here.
You better swipe right.
That's what your profile is suggesting. And we're using that quote. I can see the chicanery afoot. All right, I can see the underlying. I can see.
What is chicanery? Hang on, back up the truck a little bit. I've got to know about this word chicanery.
It's I'm just going to look it up now to make sure I've used it.
That sounds like a Guy Pigdonism. That sounds like Guy Pigdon, who has horribly mispronounced the word.
Chicanery, the use of deception or subterfuge to achieve one's purpose. Oh. That's you, motherfucker. Oh. That's you on Bumble, and you
chicanistic
motherfucker. I can read you like a book. So you're not fooling me, but these poor women. Yeah, you fooled a couple of poor women. Yeah. So anyway, how did they respond?
Yeah. Well, sorry, my chi just exploded in my lap. So I got a couple of matches. One of whom messaged me. She said, "Granddad's not wrong. That's cute." I called my granddad tonight, by the way. Yeah. See how he's doing. You said, check up on it.
You said,
should do the same.
Thanks for that hot Bumble quote, Granddad. I use it to get lots of fucks.
Yeah. Well, I didn't tell him that, but I did tell my family that I had used his quote as a Bumble thing. I mean, it's not entirely true. That's not entirely true. He was talking about my dog at the time. It was a whole other context, but like, anyway, I'm a poet. I turned it into that. Now, anyway, she said, "Granddad's not wrong. That's cute." And then she goes, "I know that TV show. Was it filmed in New Zealand?" And that's in relation to my first dates. Because one of my photos on Bumble was Buzz on Bumble is the first dates photo. We didn't play the intro before this episode of Buzz on Bumble. And so I can't remember what I was saying about
Well, what did she say?
Nothing. She said that.
Yeah, so she said your granddad's looks like.
Yeah, so she asked about.
Yeah, and I haven't seen that show, and you just didn't fucking reply. You literally, you have literally nothing to do, and the whole fucking day and you couldn't reply to the Bumble message on a girl that you swiped.
What the fuck are we going to talk about for 4 weeks? You know, what are you up to? Fucking nothing. What are you up to? Fucking nothing too. You know, like, there's no point if you're not going to, meet
why
with
were you
them, right?
swiping?
That's what I'm saying. The whole thing was pointless.
No, don't you?
And this was the pointless result.
You could have set it up. You teeing it up for...
Yeah, I'm like, hey, baby, so in 4 weeks, you know, shall we meet maybe if this whole thing changes? Oh, and by the way, yeah, I'm not with this particular match. I'm not you know, I mentioned to you my technique of swiping right.
Let's just refresh the listeners of your technique for swiping right.
The technique for swiping right is that I take off my pants and I do the helicopter with my penis. I hold it by the face and I swing it around like a police baton, you know, and basically underneath I hold my cell phone with Bumble open. And then I rotate the helicopter in an anti-clockwise direction, which every time my penis does a full rotation, it swipes a person to the right. So I get all those matches that way, you see? But they're not exactly discerning matches. You understand what I'm saying? So I was not.
So what you're saying is this girl that messaged you was an uggo, and you...
That's a terrible gentrification, guys. It's a horrible way to say. There's a terrible way to.
You couldn't be bothered replying to her.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that I didn't envision us having a future together, and so I don't want to waste her time.
Apart from the time you already wasted matching with her.
Well, as mentioned, that was a mistake. I shouldn't have been. There's no point. Literally, when I don't even know why I got on Bumble. I think I got some sort of notification. So I was like, okay, what's this? I'll check it. And then there I was. And I was like, well, I might as well have a couple of swipes.
I'll tell you what the...
I'll
tell you what the point is. 1, you got nothing fucking better to do. 2...
No, but I do. I've got way more better things to do than talk shit with strangers on the internet. I don't care. I don't want to be chatting with this bullshit. I want to be like, if we're meeting on Thursday, well, that's fine.
2...
You know, the other thing too is that I went on 3 lovely dates with the English Rose before all of this.
Heard anything?
You know? I mean, I shouldn't have been playing around.
Have you
Bumble, helicopter.
Have you heard from the English Rose?
Well, we've kept in touch. We've kept in touch. This is a person with whom I've been on some dates, but there's been zero romantic connection of any description. So I just have no idea what's going to happen in 3 to 4 weeks when this all finally blows over.
And when this tempest in a teapot totally blows over in 3 to 4 weeks. And everything's back to normal and absolutely nothing has changed in 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah.
Well, look, and when we get because that's kind of the point, right? Like, okay, so when are we going to meet? When are we going to meet? When are we possibly going to meet?
And have you not considered flaunting the lockdown rules?
Yeah.
For a little bit of
I have considered
the nanny.
I've considered it. I've considered it. Here's what I've thought. I've thought if I went walking, right, in the same place as you went walking, then we could film a post-apocalyptic film. So here you and I are, and we're both happen to be walking to the St. Luke's countdown, and we happen to meet along the way, and we happen to stay 2 meters apart from each other, and you happen to have a camera, and I happen to walk through these desolate post-apocalyptic locations. Well, we haven't broken any rules, have we?
Well, as long as I maintained a distance of 2 meters from you.
Yeah. Exactly. So what's the problem?
Well,
we could totally.
There's no problem as such.
Like when I go for a walk, right, I sometimes see people talking, and they're talking to each other, but they're staying 2 meters apart. Okay, but they are talking to each other, and they're obviously not from the same bubble.
Yeah.
And that's normal, right? If I went to the park and I bumped into somebody I knew, I'd stand 2 meters away from them, and I'd have a chat.
Yeah, well, look, we could do the first isolation lockdown film where I stay 2 meters away from you the whole time.
Well, mate, I've got so much to say about that because there's so many opportunities at the moment. Firstly, the New Zealand police is offering $1,500 for any type of like social media content that they can share up to 2 minutes long. But that's one thing. That's $1,500 to send in a 2-minute video related to the lockdown. It's not about COVID specifically. It's just like a funny piece of meme content. They'll pay you $1,500. New Zealand Police, go look it up, people. If you're out there and you're a filmmaker in New Zealand, you're looking to make some fucking money, look up the New Zealand Police. I shared it on the Guy and Harley Facebook page. There's a link there, and they'll give you $1,500 for content that they use on their social media. But another thing that's happening is. Sorry, I got the COVID. Another thing that's happening is a funding body has just announced today that if you can apply for it. I don't know the exact details, unfortunately. I don't have them right here with me. I wish I had a technical producer who could look them up right now and post the link for everybody. But basically, there is a funding initiative from the government today saying that if you can do a film within your bubble in isolation, that you can apply for the funding for it right now, and it's got a real quick turnaround. You'll find out by Monday, the 6th of April, if you've been approved. And if you've been approved, you can then go ahead and shoot your little script that you've written for related to the apocalypse. And it's got to be, but it's got to be within your bubble and all that type of thing.
Well, you better start writing that, mate.
Well, I've written something. There's two potential ones. When I say written, I mean written broadly the outlines, but not the actual scripts, right? So we got two. Now I mentioned one last week where I what happened in it? I get into the shower,
the zombies
and then my
attack
flatmate,
you.
who's infected, and he stands outside the shower, and the whole film is me trapped inside a glass shower with a zombie outside, and I can't get out, and that's the whole film, right? But that one's a little bit complicated in the sense that it does require at least 2 actors because we've got to have a zombie. Now I could use my flatmate, but you would have to come into my house to film it, or I'd have to do all the camera work myself. It'd be some sort of issue. I don't know. Well, I mean, hey, fuck it. If they're paying me, I'd do it. Anyway, the other idea I had though was, let me just see if I can find it here, because I got to find my notes is the issue. So just say something interesting.
Well, look, it's good that you haven't had your notes up for the whole episode.
No, I had, but not the notes of the specific one random bloody film idea I had.
Well, look, I mean, obviously there's the classic, which is a guy meets a girl out on their exercise walks, and they have to stay 2 meters away, but they start joking and chatting with each other, and, sparks fly, and then they happen to keep walking at exactly the same time, and everything's going great, and then one day one of them is not there. And then the other one shows up each time at that time, and that person is not there because they died of COVID.
Ooh, do you know what that reminds me of? That reminds
a lot of things.
Me of
a lot of cliche things.
No. It's good. I didn't. That's fine.
Freestyle it off the top of my head, mate.
Good. Keep it up, mate. Well, because what it reminds me of is the beautiful woman from the cafe near my house. Now I often go to this cafe near my house to get my morning coffee, and she told me her name. We'll call her Latte Lady, and she told me her name, Latte Lady, and she, and we chat regularly as I go there, and we often talk about my work and so on, which she asks me about, and so I sometimes I kind of fantasize that perhaps one day maybe I could ask her out for a coffee. That could happen. I could ask her out for a coffee, and then I never got the courage, of course. And then all this COVID-19 lockdown business happened. Now, is she going to be back when this cafe reopens? In 4 weeks, when this 10% of teapot blows over? Maybe. Latte Lady, she might be back, but I feel like probably not. I might not see her for a long time. Might not see her for a long time. And that's what that reminds me.
That cafe might not even be open. But I tell you what, we can shoot my idea with my girlfriend and you, and I film it. Fucking easy, mate.
Okay. And it fits with your cuckolding fantasies as well.
It fits with those fantasies,
so
It fits. It's in line with those.
It's aligned, yeah, exactly. Now we could shoot that as long as my girlfriend and I always. Oh no, that's the point. We're 2 meters
Exactly.
apart. Yeah, it's brilliant, mate. It's fucking brilliant. So we stay two
Yep.
meters apart the whole time.
Yep.
You shoot it, and
That's
and
it,
that's it.
brother.
Fucking brilliant. Yeah. Okay. Oh, I love it. Let's do it. So all we need is a script, and we send it to them. When I say all we need is a script, I actually mean that we need several other things related to the application. But I've got to find out the specifics of what they were. I just read them before, but I just got sent them before the show, so I didn't pay too much attention. But yes. Yeah, I'll have to find that later. But so anyway, I did think of another movie idea myself. Okay, so what would happen would be it would be like I would be the only person in the film, and something like this would happen. Now, this is very, very, very rough, and I've just called up my notes. Mm-hmm. This is the gist of it. Okay, so it's the beginning of March. There's a series of tight shots of objects in my room from my day-to-day life, you know, and I'm out of focus in the background at the computer. And eventually, through subtle audio hints, it becomes clear that I'm masturbating at the computer.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Then, okay, and then we see an extreme close-up of the bottom right-hand screen of what I'm looking at. So it's an extreme close-up of what I'm looking at on the computer screen. And we see that I'm on the final video, on the final page of Pornhub. And as the video gets closer and closer to the end, so does my orgasm. And the ferocity with which I masturbate intensifies as the video counts down its final seconds. 3, 2, 1. Suddenly, a bright light fills the room, and future Harley appears. Okay? He's unshaven. He's disheveled. His clothes are tatty, and there's something wild about him. Past Harley screams in surprise, which turns into an odd-sounding orgasmic moan like, as he comes in a fright. And future Harley is like, well, you're gonna have to stop what you're doing right there. I've come from the future, and past Harley's like 10 years in the future, and future Harley's like, no, later this month, okay? And he's like, stay away from the people, all that type of thing. Don't call it the woo flu; it's incredibly racist. And all that type of thing. Bunch of witty dialogue which I've gotten written here about what should I do if I find the opportunity to have sex, and he says you're not going to have to worry about that, and I say but what if, and then he says look, if it happens you should go for it. And so anyway, bloody blah, I give the update on future Harley gives the update to past Harley on what's going on. It's all very comical and crazy and comedic, and then future Harley says, look, it's very important, at the end of all this he says, it's very important that we don't touch each other, okay? It's not about the virus. I just have no idea what it's going to do to the space-time continuum. Fade in. It's the morning time now. We're in my bedroom. Past Harley is asleep on his back. Next to him, future Harley is revealed as he sits up into frame, a la Back to the Future, revealing himself to be there.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean? In the Back to the Future shot where he sits up into frame? Yeah. And then future Harley says, you were amazing last night, Harley. And then past Harley says, so were you, Harley. And that's it.
Sorry, what has this got to do with the COVID virus?
No, it doesn't have to do anything with the COVID virus. It's just got to be shot in a... It doesn't have anything to do with... just anything you want to do. Anything you want to do, as long as it can be shot within your bubble. It's got to be shot within your bubble. That's it. It's just got to be shot within your bubble.
That's a great idea. That's a great concept for a film.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't think someone's going to give you $15,000 to film it.
Well, I don't know how much they're offering, to be honest. I don't know.
Or just to allegedly give you some money.
No. It's a funding thing. I just didn't see how much the
Right.
funding was for.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little one-person shoot in your bedroom. It's probably like a few $1,000s, I guess, but it could be
I'll
more.
go
I
out
don't
on
know.
a limb and say I don't think it's going to get funding. I'll go out on a limb.
But it's a comedy where I fuck myself at the end of it. That's fucking hilarious.
I'm not saying
Who the fuck
I'm
would
not
have
saying
paid
it's
for
not
that?
hilarious. I'm just not sure it's what the funding bodies are after right now. I'm not saying it's not a valid
Well,
concept.
I mean,
Um, but the good news is you don't need any money to film that. You only
I know. I just need one actor, but I do need
well,
the VFX.
not really. You could almost, you
Camera
could
trickery.
almost film all of that without anyone else in your room, with no help whatsoever.
Yeah. Well, look, if I applied for this with that script and they said, cool, here's $5,000, make us a movie, I'd obviously be highly fucking motivated to make that movie. I've got a camera, right? And I've got a microphone. I'll figure out the microphone situation, so I could do that. That could happen. If somebody was paying me, I'd be like, fuck, this is work. I'll do it in one day. I'll fucking smash that shit out.
Yeah, I feel like you're going to have to get by without the funding on this one.
Well, maybe on that particular script, but I mean, there's lots of good stuff there. The thing is that the fucking myself at the end is kind of the twist. You would sell it based on this concept of a person going back in time in 30 days.
Yeah.
So and it's all about the juxtaposition between what was normal 30 days ago and
Right.
what's normal now. And so you could just say all these crazy things. Future Harley would be saying all these crazy things, and a lot of the humor comes from past Harley not understanding what the fuck he's talking about. Like why the fuck, okay, the reverse version of this, right, which is probably actually better, and this is the version I haven't written, would be that when I finish the last page of Pornhub, instead of future Harley magically appearing, past Harley goes to the future. And so he's jerking off a month ago, and then he finishes the last page of Pornhub, and he goes bam into the 30 days later, and now here we are at the beginning of April, right? And he's walking around like, I don't understand what's going on. Why is this bitch washing her fucking vegetables in hot soapy water? Like why is everybody saying 2 meters away from me? Like why is all this crazy stuff happening? And that's where a lot of the humor would be from. So actually, it's probably better that way. You're not trying to pretend it's 30 days ago. You're trying to pretend it's today. And then that would mean that I could go for walks and do stuff outside with no people around. And it makes sense. It'd be cool.
Well, from a filming point of view, I feel like the first version is actually easier.
If you keep it all in the bedroom.
And it's just you and you. All you need is to got a tripod and a camera.
Yeah. Just spin it around and have a conversation with yourself. Yeah.
Just don't cross the line. Get your eye lines right.
Yeah. Yeah, well, look, maybe I should write that. Maybe I should send you that concept so that you can write that script so that I can send it away with my producer profile for funding.
That's the problem, mate. Unfortunately, I still have a job, and I'm quite flat out with that particular job, and I will be until that job ends, because essentially I have to make all my content online, which is actually much easier said than done, because essentially
I can imagine. I'm just trying to do it with Show Me Shorts, and I can imagine how much more complicated that would be trying to teach somebody for 6 months or 4 weeks or whatever it is.
2 to 3 months, until the beginning of July. So
hey, now hold that thought for a second. I know this is a live show. We've actually got 9 full viewers on the live stream, but I really need
I think we should
break.
probably wrap it up.
Oh, all right. Okay,
I mean, it's
fine.
We're ending on a high of this magical story that you've pitched.
Okay, you're right.
This beautiful work of art that is 100% guaranteed to get that $15,000 worth of funding.
Yeah.
The police will say this is exactly what we're looking for.
Yeah. No, you're getting two things. You're getting two
I know.
separate
I'm
things
just
mixed up.
being funny.
One One's $1,500 from the
Yeah.
police, and one of them is I don't know how
Yeah,
much from the government.
No, I get it. I get it.
Okay.
Um,
Good.
but the police need this masturbating story. They
Right,
really
yeah.
need this. The police need this story about you clocking Pornhub and sleeping with future you.
Yeah.
It's
Fucking my
it's
future
exactly
self.
the material that they've got in mind. Because it's all about
Yeah.
the quarantine.
Yes. It's a witty, insightful, comedic insight and a witty, insightful comedic insight. You heard me into the current state of affairs in this historic moment.
No, absolutely magical. But yes, so I think we should wrap it up because.
Wrap it up. Okay, all right.
But yeah, thanks to all the listeners. Ian, it was lovely to hear from you. If you're still here, you crazy Irish bastard.
Yep.
But yeah, hopefully he's doing all right over there, and same for Jason in America.
I think he's doing fine. He's doing fine. He got he got Bitcoin wealthy in the Bitcoin gold rush, so he'll be fine. He'll be just chilling.
Well,
up
I
in
hope
his
he sold
mansion
those Bitcoins now because they'll be diminishing in value, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? I haven't even looked. Might be going up in value, mate. In this day and age, we're all moving that way. Digital currency probably makes sense. It's eventually going to take over.
So thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for the questions and entering into some dialogue with us. It's great for us because we have less to talk about in these lockdown days, unless you count that amazing story that Harley just came up with. Which is actually maybe a highlight of the 5 years that we've been on the Guy and Harley podcast. So you never know what you're going to find on lockdown. Some creativity, the fires will be stoked. And but yes, if I were you, Harley, I would literally just shoot that in your house as you are. You can do it all.
Yeah. The thing is, I've got things to shoot. I've got to do these vlogs, and I've got other bits and bobs. I've got other plans in the pipeline. I've got to decide what to prioritize, So that's the thing. But yes, anyway, thank you very much for listening. And Facebook.com/Guy and Harley, Pigville. Go to patreon.com/Pigville. And you can also find my gay porn account by going to onlyfans.com/hairy navel. That's the keyword, hairy navel. $5 a month. You can see gaping, fisting, autofellatio, self-bukkake, auto-bukkake, anything you want, really. It's all there. It's all there. $5 a month on my OnlyFans, onlyfans.com/hairy navel. And other than that, thank you very much for listening. Please hit share on this. We really need this at the moment. This is kind of important to us. If you could hit share, if you could hit like, all that stuff, it really does help us at the moment. Give us a review. Thank you so much. If you're on YouTube, hit thumbs up, blah, blah, blah. Thank you so much because that all really, really helps us.
All right. Signing off. See you later.